How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Mushroom Wonderland. It's April of 2023, early spring. We're gonna head out into the woods and help identify what wild mushrooms might be growing out here. My name is Aaron Hilliard. I'm the Vice President of the Kitsap Peninsula Mycological Society. I've been a mushroom geek my whole life, and I'm the creator of Mushroom Wonderland here and also on Patreon, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Rumble. You can find us all over the place. Come with me into the woods to see what's growing in spring of 2023 on Mushroom Wonderland.
Welcome to Mushroom Wonderland.
Wow, look at this massive Hygrocybe. This is crazy. I've never found one quite that big. Look at that. And the genus Hygrocybe. This is a waxy cap. This thing is massive. Look at that. I thought it was a lobster mushroom or something. But growing here in the beginning of spring. Wow. They don't normally get that big around here. I have seen Hygrocybe Flav Essence, which is the yellow waxy caps that grow around here. This one is something a little different. Definitely old Hygrophanus. Look, orange on the edge of the cap, fades in the center. Look at those gills. That is something else. So we look how tall this guy is. You know, from the base up, we're looking, 2.5 inches tall. That's a big Hygrocybe. Usually they're pretty small mushrooms. Look at that guy. Wow. Look how bright that is. So waxy cap's a really fun mushroom to find in the spring. This is a gorgeous, huge, bright orange waxy cap. This one's gonna get a picture taken and put up on Upskirts on Facebook. Check out that group. Really cool shots of mushrooms from underneath, but beautiful Hygrocybe, kind of a two of them grown into one. Awesome. Walking along this trail with all this leaf duff, kind of a lot of deciduous trees. This thing catches my eye. Look at this. Another Hygrocybe. Cool. There's some of them hiding right in here. These are the Hygrocybe Flav Essence. Look at how yellow that is. So, beautiful waxy caps. Kind of hiding in the dirt. But this is the time of year to find waxy caps. This guy's so dirty right here. Let's see what it looks like. There's a good chance there's dog pee all over these. But look how bright yellow those are. Very gorgeous. They look like candy or a gummy candy or something like that. Maybe a fruit. They look like they should smell like citrus. But these are the Hygrocybe Flav Essence. Flav meaning yellow in mycology or taxonomy. So I see another guy right over here. Just barely. The Hygrocybe are the waxy caps. Found a couple of varieties here today. So that's cool. These are generally edible. They have a white spore print. And you can see why they're called a waxy cap. Very waxy indeed. They don't mind the cold weather either. They like just coming out of a winter. So. Quite windy right now. I'm on top of a hill. There's a storm moving in. Here's the Great Northwest if you're unfamiliar with what it looks like here. Yes, we do eat Ivar's clam chowder. There are fairies and orcas and Mount Rainier. So it's a beautiful area. And we have some pretty mushrooms like this. Hygrocybe Flav Essence. Check this out over here in the woods. The first trillium I've seen of 2023. Beautiful little three-petaled flower that grows here. Native in the PNW. Some of them are very purplish. This one pure white. Extremely rare to find a pure white one. So this could be worth money. I'm just kidding. I don't think it's rare at all, but definite sign spring is here in the PNW. I am a firm believer that nothing clears your head quite like a nice quiet walk in a beautiful forest. Very lucky to live in an area that has forests like this. Me and Gunnar could just spend all day out here in the woods. And it's pretty peaceful. This mushroom here, I'm betting, is the Fragrant Funnel. Clitocybe. We were calling it fragrans. Now I think it's Clitocybe decptiva, something to that effect. And it smells very much like anise seed or like black licorice. But I am not a licorice or an anise fan anyways, so although oyster mushrooms kind of smell that same way too, not a fan of eating these. I can smell it from here, just holding it. So Clitocybe, a big genus of mushrooms that come in all shapes and sizes. You see those gills are kind of decurrent. So yeah, they kind of run down the stem there, and ooh, smells very much like licorice or anise seed. They're kind of rare, kind of small, usually growing individually. So very common this time of year though, in leaf duff like this. Look at this growing on this log here. These bright little orange mushrooms. They're just tiny. Kind of wish I had a pair of tweezers here. I'm going to gently try to pull that guy off of there. Beautiful. Look at that. That's what we encounter here. The first sign of morel type mushrooms. Look at that. Gyromitra esculenta. These guys are pretty poisonous. You don't want to eat those. They turn into rocket fuel in your system. But they're definitely a sign that morels could be popping up right now. One that you want to avoid. There's all kinds of talk about maybe cooking them in a certain way to detoxify them. I just don't really see any reason to do that. Look at this growing out of the end of this log. And I'd already picked one. So this is our northwest variety of Flammulina. So the Enoki mushroom. These are an edible mushroom that grow here on hardwood trees. We got a nice little cluster coming out. So Flammulina veluta peas is a close relative. So I picked one of these Flammulinas. One of the ways that you can identify a mushroom is by taste. And although I don't know what this mushroom is supposed to taste like, I can take a little nibble off of it and just see if it has any distinct flavor and spit it out. Even if it's a poisonous mushroom, you can do that. So I'm sure this is Flammulina because of that dark stipe, white gills growing on hardwood here. It's very pleasant. They're really good mushrooms. That really dark stipe growing off of wood, kind of a winter loving mushroom. These white gills. Flammulina. Look at these growing right here on this rotting hardwood stick. A whole bunch of woolly bird nest fungus. Nidula niveo tomentosa. These are really, really cool. So these ones look like all the periodols have washed out. So they have little like egg looking structures that form inside of them. And those are actually the spore bearing surface. And then a raindrop falls down, lands in that cup, and it splashes them out. So these have served their purpose. There's probably a million little spores all around here. So this is a beautiful mushroom. There's about 9 different species of this. This is known as a Laccaria. So it's got these really beautifully widely spaced gills, but look at the way that these roll upward, and they really get concave, you know, where they can even collect water. This one really beautiful, if it would focus here, is kind of depressed in the center. This could be Laccaria laccata, pretty common one. Most of these mushrooms are edible. One of the 9 species that inhabit here in the PNW. Gunnar's got a new little friend out in the woods with him today. This is Loki. Welcome to Mushroom Wonderland, Loki. My wife's dog. Hopefully someday he'll learn to hunt truffles. But right here, some really cool looking little mushrooms growing in a cluster. These ones, some species of Psathyrella, I can tell from the cortina there. It's gonna have dark spores. Really cool. It's a big one. Looks like there's about 4 of them. I'm gonna leave these guys to grow, but I think they look really neat underneath. So if you're from Western Washington, you might be familiar with these. These are our fire ants, just coming out. First time of the year. They hibernate all winter, and then, you know, it's spring when they come out. But these little guys will pack a mean little bite. So even just like being relatively close to this nest, they could start climbing up my legs and biting me. One time I was taking pictures and didn't realize I was standing on a nest of these guys, and they get angry. They really start swarming. Dang, look at this log right here, covered in all of this like bracket fungus. It's very green. These are pretty cool looking. This is known as Tremidis Gibosa, related to the turkey tail mushroom, but look at this one. Man, it is very lumpy looking. This is why it's commonly called the lumpy bracket, and it grows a lot of algae on it. It's almost velvety feeling. You hear that? And it's got a porous underside. Sometimes the pores get elongated, start looking like teeth or something, but we have these, you know, kind of dash-looking pores rather than circular. So, Tremidis Gibosa, not really known to be of any like medicinal or culinary value. Very tough, woody conchs, but another white rot decayer here in the PNW, and it's beautiful. These ones are very mature, so dropping a ton of spores, but related to the turkey tail, but not known to have any medicinal benefits. So pretty cool, the lumpy bracket. So right here I came across this pretty interesting little mushroom growing here in the woods. This one's pretty common in the spring around here. Camera has a hard time focusing on it because it doesn't recognize it as anything. It's a very bland looking mushroom. There's one right here growing pretty alone here in the moss. Oh wait, I see another one right there. And I saw an even bigger one over here. So we're gonna look at this big one. Oh look, here's one. And here's quite a big one. Look at this guy. So very umbonate in the center. You can see the inner disc. It's quite hygrophanous, so as it dries out, it sort of changes color and even texture a little bit. This one loves growing in moss like this. Just a nice little moss bed. Here's some wild blackberry. But this one, let me pluck this guy. Real kind of fragile stem. If we look under here, kind of in the sunlight, you can see those gills. They're really not attached to the stem at all, or the stipe. And then kind of a tan colored gills, but if you were to lay this cap on a piece of paper, you'd have a pink spore print. This is in the genus Entoloma. So Entoloma, pretty big genus of mushrooms. This one I actually had recently sequenced in the 2023 West Coast Myco Blitz, and this one came back as Entoloma cetratum. So it grows in Europe, Asia, Australia, North America, and the fact that it was sequenced and matched those other mushrooms from Europe is kind of cool. A very widespread mushroom, but of no culinary value. This comes in a genus of mushrooms that can be quite toxic, and this one is, you know, unknown to inedible is pretty much how it's described everywhere. I'm not the one to like just randomly try mushrooms to see how they make me feel or whatever, but you know, somebody's got to do it to figure out these things. This one described in like 1818 and still considered of no culinary value. So Entoloma cetratum, kind of a pretty one that adorns the forest floors here in the PNW in early spring, but not one to collect for the basket. What we just went through is known as false spring. So Punxsutawney Phil wasn't messing around when he saw his shadow. It's still cold, and like there's a chance of rain snow mix tomorrow in Western Washington on April 1st. So April Fool's Day to everybody, yay. It should be warming up soon. Morels should be coming to life soon. So the long-awaited mushroom season is about to commence. Dying of allergies over here, by the way. If you got bad allergies this year, put it in the comments, man. I feel like I got this sneeze just stuck in my face. It's spring in the PNW. I think I saw something right over here. Have a look. Oh, more Stereum. Pretty common, shows up in a lot of the videos. This is the false turkey tail, Stereum hirsutum. One way you can tell that it's not a turkey tail, when you look underneath it, there's no pores, okay? It's just smooth like that. Turkey tail will have white pores underneath. So this one definitely not. Tremidis Stereum, very common white rot decay here on hardwoods. And luckily turkey tail or Tremidis versicolor pretty common too. So this time of year you shouldn't have too much trouble finding either of them. But it's not toxic, so if you accidentally picked this and made it into a tea or something like that, it'd be just fine. It's not gonna hurt you. Oh, look at this. All over right here, little ascomites. These are some little Pseudoplectania. Oh, there's quite a few growing all around here. So these little Gunner's itching his face on the bushes or something. But anyways, these little black cups. These are a little bit large for the Pseudoplectania nigrella. These ones are a different species. Little debate about the name, but an ascomite. Related to morels. So if you see these, you might be seeing morels or gyromitra soon. All the ascomites that like to come out here in the spring. Here's more of the Pseudoplectania. Likes growing on these little sticks and stuff. It's a pretty little fruiting of them. But right down here, we see some little white mushrooms popping out of the needle duff right on the side of the trail. These guys have very silky looking caps. You see that? Very indicative of the genus Inocybe. It's gonna have a kind of a light brown spore print. And these mushrooms, typically toxic, they have a tendency to kind of dry out, but here's a really young, fresh one. Mycorrhizal mushrooms grown in association with evergreen trees right here. Most likely this Douglas fir that's right here. You can see the roots going down, and then these mushrooms are growing off the tips of the roots. deriving some carbohydrates from the tree, and in exchange kind of breaking down some of the enzymes and minerals in the soil so that the tree can use them. So a nice little association. No use known for humans yet. No good for eating. Leave these guys alone. It's kind of a unique mushroom. Look at this guy. Very different looking. Got a very dark margin. A lot of striations there on the margin. Very umbonate cap. That's what this pointy little tip on here is. Kind of like a nipple or something. If we look way down here, oh, you can see, oh, there's a younger one. That was right next to it. Oh, when I look under there, I definitely see pink. This is in the Entomomiaceae. It's an entoloma of some variety. Entoloma meaning enrolled margin. Ento meaning enrolled. Loma meaning the hem, the fringe, or the margin. So, a beautiful entoloma. These are very common in the spring, but I like the look of this guy. Look at how handsome he is. So pointy and very myceliated at the base. You see that? Nice. Pretty common genus of mushrooms, one that you want to probably avoid. No good known edibles coming out of here. So the entoloma, pretty one to look at. Look at that. Gorgeous. Beautiful mushroom. I'm going to take some pictures of that guy. Look underneath there. Beautiful margin. Look at how those gills get all twisty there. And you can definitely see the pink on the gills. So, another beautiful upskirt. Seeing some unique and beautiful mushrooms today. So, really nice. Right down here, a young, dead, old Phaeolus schweinitzii, Dyers Polypore from last year. It's all dead, but look right up here. There's his parent, just right on the side of the trail. Nobody saw that, so people are out looking for Dyers mushrooms. It's a pretty popular, well-known trail, but they can really blend in and just kind of look like a part of the forest. But there's last year's fruiting of Dyers Polypore. Phaeolus schweinitzii. Kind of living on the roots of one of these trees here. So right down here, another Dyers Polypore, Phaeolus schweinitzii from last year. So these ones pretty common, and Dyers collect these. This is again right on the side of the trail, so surprising somebody didn't see this last year. Good camouflage mushrooms, and they actually can put dye into protein fabrics that can make a pretty cool camouflage color. So it's kind of crappy out here today, 2nd of April. Now it is like kind of snowing, raining, cold. It's like 37 degrees, so typical early spring weather here in Western Washington. We'll have sun breaks, and then hail, and then rain, some lightning and thunder if we're lucky, and then just rain showers, and then sun breaks. So very typical. But mushroom season is definitely on its way. A couple of the things that we can look forward to seeing soon are going to be all the morels. And right now there's been reports of landscape morels, Morchella importuna, right down at sea level, being found in Tacoma, North Seattle, Marysville. I've seen quite a few sightings of landscape morels popping up. I've checked a couple of spots for my more woodland morels. Haven't seen any of the tridentina yet, the mountain blonde, or the ones that I have a suspicion are the sextillata. the Morchella sextulata that seemed to be a mycorrhizal mushroom. But definitely saw some Gyromitras like you saw in the video, so that's a good precursor, as well as the Pseudoplectania. These are ascomycetes that are starting to come out already. And so also another one to look forward to this month is going to be Agaricus augustus, or the Prince. Delicious wild edible. I usually see popping up in April. You know, some other saprotrophic mushrooms like oyster mushrooms should be showing up pretty soon. Wine caps could be showing up soon. So keep your eyes open. Mushrooms are starting to pop, and especially looking forward to morel season. So thank you all for joining me. So definitely looking forward to morel season. Got my eyes peeled already. This time last year, I was finding morels growing, and we had an awesome year last year. So maybe we can look forward to that again. So keep your eyes peeled.